Ah, here we are. Going to talk a little bit about. I ain't gonna stay on too long tonight. I got a few things I need to get done. Uh, had a couple bad things go wrong today, like the washing machine uh, clogging up. Uh, the main drain did at least, and flooded my basement floor. So I'm trying to get that unclogged and trying to get the floor dried out a little bit. So I gotta get back down there. But tonight we're gonna talk about kids, uh, which is kind of what's wrong with our society today. Anymore, you can't whoop them, you can't punish them, you really can't do much of anything according to law. Uh, so I know back when I grew up, we had to go out and pick our own twitch off the weeping willow tree, and that's what we got whooped with. Unless Dad came home, and then he had what they call the black belt, and that was hanging on the wall. That was just if you did something wrong and he reached for that black belt, you knew you was getting it. Uh, so yeah, punishments nowadays compared to how we was punished, they're saying that whoopings and stuff uh, shows violence, teaches kids violence, and that's why they grow up and we have all these shootings and all the fighting and stuff in the world today. Um, but in reality, it's the lack of punishment, the lack of spankings, the last, you know, whoop your kids. Uh, I've had my kids often threaten to call the cops on me. I got the phone and handed them the phone and told them when they call the cops, tell them to bring an ambulance with them. Because if I'm going to go to jail, I'm going to go to jail for a reason. And so I believe in whooping your kids. Uh, there's an overextend of it, but take the belt and whoop them on the ass a couple of times and set them straight. Um, teach them how to respect you and how to respect your mother and or their mother. And if my kids talked back to my wife when I was married at the time, and they looked back at me, all they were getting was a look, and they got up and they went and did it because they knew what was coming. Uh, so all I really had to do is give them a look. Um, if my mom would have told me, wait until your father gets home, we'd try to have as much of a good time as possible until Dad got home because we knew we was getting our ass whooped when he got home. Uh, so, you know, and it kind of teaches you and uh, how to respect your parents and how to respect others. And it's the same way in society. When we went out and did something, if we disrespected somebody or took something from somebody, we got in trouble for it. Uh, I remember I went to a grocery store one time and stole a package of cookies just to see if I could get away with it, and I got caught. Uh, Store manager called my parents, and it was only 3 blocks from the store. That's where we lived when we lived, and they came and got me, and they wound up calling Father Mahogany up at St. Bridget's Church, and we had to go up there and have a talk with the priest. At that time you're a young kid, and you had to sit in front of a priest and tell him what you did wrong, and that's kind of hard to do. And then to talk about being little wussies, uh, I kind of laugh at schools nowadays because every time you turn around, they're closing school. Uh, And it ain't no lie. If anyone knows where Mars Junior High is, I had to walk from 24th and F all the way to Mars Junior High every school day. And it could be snowing or raining or, freaking cold out. We had to go to school. I mean, Mom gave us bus money that took us three-fourths of the way to school, but the candy store was on the way to school, so we didn't want to use the bus money on the bus. We wanted to stop off at the candy store and get candy before school, so that's what we did. But, it's about just a little over 2 mile walk, and when it's cold out, and, or you're walking through, 8, 9 inches of snow, it takes a while to get to school, but by dang, you got to school and you better been there on time. And there was no closing down the schools. Now you get an inch or two on the ground and they close the schools. Um, I walked to school one day and it was 5 below and the wind chill factor was 30 below. I walked 2 miles to school and I walked 2 miles back home. And um, we really didn't have a choice because at that time Mom didn't drive and Dad was at work. And so, we either took the bus or we walked. And like I said, we saved the money for the candy store. Um, Fighting in school? There was no fighting in school. You didn't get in fights. And if you did, you didn't come home and talk about it. That was all hush hush. Uh, Fighting amongst each other. That was a no-no. Um, we grew up with respect between our brothers and sisters. Um, and then, like with after school, we come home and the first thing we have to do is our homework. There was no coming home and going outside playing. We came home, we had to do our homework. And by the time you got your homework done, you hope you had enough time to go out and play before Dad got home, because as soon as Dad got home, Mom had dinner ready. And so we would all sit down and have dinner together because we ate as a family. And that's another big problem that we have today. Ain't nobody eats as a family. Um, Even today, me and my youngest son that lives with me, uh, we eat together, and that's our time together to talk about things or whatever. I mean, we do out throughout the day anyhow, but that's our time, and I kind of enjoy that, and I feel like he kind of enjoys it. And but we all sat down as a family and we ate. Uh, and then after dinner, I mean, the three of us boys were the oldest, so one of us had to rid the table and put everything away, and another one had to wash, and the other one had to dry and put the dishes away. And that would rotate every night, but that was every night. And when we lived on the farm, uh, we had to go out and collect eggs and stuff before school. Uh, so there was a lot of things that we had to do, and and like after dishes were done and everything, and we had our homework done, then we could go outside and play. And then there's that old thing called the street lights. If the street lights came on, you better be in the house. There was no more outside playing, unless Mom or Dad was out there with us or whatever. But, we can go out and play and do whatever. But when those street lights came on, we better be in the house. Uh, we always had a bedtime. I think back then at that time, when I was in junior high, excuse me, it was 9 o'clock. We had to be in bed by 9 o'clock, and um, we gave Mom no crap when she came up and woke us up for school the next day. So you don't have that today. Kids are up until 12, 1 o'clock. They come home from school and they throw their homework aside, if they even bring it home at all. And uh, they're disrespectful to their parents. They run around the streets all hours of the night. They hang out with the wrong crowd. You know, there's nothing wrong with smoking some little bit of marijuana. I still do it today. And I don't smoke a lot, but every once in a while I'll take a hit or two. And but when I grew up, that's all I did was smoke marijuana. I didn't get any of the hard drugs, but there's nothing wrong with marijuana. And but that's the only drug I would legalize, because I would rather see my kids smoke a joint than go out and drink at a bar. Uh, too many people are getting killed from alcohol. Driving drunk, or they get drunk and they get in fist fights, or uh, something about alcohol that just makes you a tough man, and you wind up going out and getting into fights, or getting pissed off and going home and getting a gun and going out and shooting somebody or whatever. But uh, myself, since not too many people are going to be on here debating it, I would say whoop your kids, whoop them good. When they do wrong, let them know they did wrong, and then have a little talk with them afterwards. Don't be afraid to ground them. Don't be afraid to take the game systems away or phones away. And that's another big problem with right there is social media. People don't interact anymore, and then they start talking crap over the internet, and next thing you know, they're getting in arguments and stuff, and that's the only time they go out is to fight somebody. Uh, so even dating, uh, everyone sits around, they're dating each other, but they sit around at home on social media. You know, go out and take her out and have an ice cream, and take a walk in the park or around the block or whatever. And spend some time with her and let her know how you feel, or what your plans are, or how your day was, or listen to her. Because she may have had a hard day as well. Relationship actually lasts a little bit longer if you do that. You don't have to hang around with your buddies all the time and stuff. And if you go pick her up, you don't have to go hang out at buddy's house. Pick her up and go spend some time with her. She'll appreciate that a lot more, believe me, and vice versa. Uh, so yeah, whoop your kids. Let them know. Ground them. Uh, and be a part of their life. Know where they're at. Know what they're doing. Know where they're going. Um, I do it today, and all my kids are in their 20s or older, and I I usually try to find out what they're doing and where they're at, and making sure they're okay, and um, just by being a part of their life, they start feeling special, and they'll give life a little bit more of an effort, and be a little bit more serious about it, uh, and they'll be able to start dreaming instead of taking drugs and fighting. But anyway, like I said, had some trouble today, so I gotta go downstairs and clean up a mess. But I just thought I'd get on here and do a little bit of a talk on kids. Uh, if you're gonna have kids, be part of their life. Love them. Let them know you love them. Punish them. That's just another form of love, as long as you don't over punish them. You don't have to beat the living hell out of them, but whoop their ass and let them know. Uh, and be surprised how much trouble they'll stay out of as they start growing up. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. Hope you all have a good night. Catman's out.